Hi students, in this video now I am going to teach you how to give dimensioning for this particular isometric object. Before that I would like to clarify one thing. In the previous video, which I have taught you how to draw this particular isometric diagram, I have mentioned that this particular line length is 20 mm. I apologize for that. The actual length of this line is 25 mm. I got confused in reading the dimensions over there and I really do apologize for that. The dimension of this particular line is 25 mm. Please make a note of that. And the rest of the drawing procedure is same. Now let us go for dimensioning. As we all know that we learnt in the exercise 1 video that all the lines in an isometric object are being treated as inclined lines. So the dimension option for used for inclined lines is dimension aligned. So now let us get back to that. Go to Home tab, go to Annotation panel, give a click here and you can select aligned option here. Just give a click on that one. Now the moment after selecting the aligned dimension, move your cursor, just give a click at this particular endpoint and this particular endpoint. Drag it and just give a click at a suitable location. Now you can see we have given dimension but the dimension is not visible. So in order to make our dimensions visible, we need to get to the dimension style manager, and the command for dimension style manager is D for dimension, D, enter. Go to modify, go to fit, and in the under the previous window, the preview window, you can see an option called use overall scale of. The use overall scale of default value is 1. Just give a click, remove that one value, type 15, give a click on OK and then just close it. See, now the dimension is visible but it is having some sort of precision over there. In order to remove the precision, we have to get back to the dimension style manager again, that is D, enter. Go to modify, go to primary units. The unit format is decimal as usual. The precision has to be 0. Now click OK and then close. Yes, now the precision is not visible, but you can see that the dimension text is placed in between the dimension line, so which is not a legal format for us. So again, get back to dimension style manager, D, enter. Go to modify, go to text. Now in text, in the previous chapters we have used text alignment option as ISO standard, but for isometric drawings or isometric chapters we are going to use the second option, that is aligned with the dimension line. Click on aligned with dimension line option. Now go to text placement window, and in that there is a vertical text placement. By default it is going to be centered in your systems. We have to select above. The text placement vertical has to be above. Now click on OK and then close it. Now in the same way, let us give dimensioning for the remaining elements in the front view. Go to dimension aligned, give a click here, give another click here, drag your cursor up to this particular intersection point, just give a click so that both the dimensions are in line with each other. Now again, get back to dimension linear, just give a click here, another click here, sorry, not linear, go to dimension aligned, just give a click here, another click here, move your cursor up to this particular intersection point, just give a click. Now we all know that we have to change the oblique angle of these three dimensions. To be precise, the extension lines of these dimensions should be in line with this particular drawing element, this particular line element. This is a vertical line indirectly, which means it is having an angle of 90 degrees. So the oblique angle also must be 90 degrees. In order to change the oblique angle, we have to edit these dimensions, and the command to edit the dimensions is DED. D for dimension, ED for edit. DED. Hit enter. Now the moment we type DED and hit enter, we get 4 sub options like home, new, rotate and oblique. In this we need to select the oblique sub option. We can select it by simply pressing O and hitting enter. The moment we type oblique O and hit enter, it is asking us to select the objects. Now we have to select the dimension objects for which we have to change the oblique angle. Simply select them, hit enter. The moment we hit enter after selection of our dimension objects, it is asking us to enter the oblique angle. As earlier we have cleared that this particular oblique angle has to be 90 degrees. So type 90, hit enter. So we can see that they have changed their oblique angle. Now let us give dimensioning for the other surfaces also, that is for surface 4, surface 7. Go to dimension, align, just give a click here, another click here, drag it and just place it at a convenient point. Now take another dimension aligned option, give a click here, another click here, just click it at a convenient distance and just place it. Now we should also change the oblique angle of these two dimensions. Now if we clearly observe that the extension line of this dimension and the extension line of this particular dimension should be in line with this particular line and this particular line. Both these lines are having an angle of 30 degrees. So the oblique angle is also going to be 30 degrees. So go back to dimension edit command, that is DED. Hit enter. Type oblique O, enter. Select both these objects. Hit enter. And when it asks for you to enter the oblique angle, type 30 and hit enter. That's it. As simple as it. Now let us give dimensioning for this particular line. That is, get back to dimension align. Just give a click here, another click here, move your cursor, and now the extension lines of these dimensions should be in line with this particular drawing element, that is your line, which is at an angle of 150 degrees. So indirectly the oblique angle has to be 150 degrees. So go for dimension edit, DED, enter, oblique O, enter, select this particular dimension which you want to change the oblique angle. So hit enter after selection, and when it asks you to enter the oblique angle, type 150 and hit enter. Okay, now let us give dimension for this particular line element. Go to go to aligned, just give a click here, another click here, move your cursor up to some convenient distance, just give a click, that's it. Now go to dimension edit, DED, enter, oblique O, enter, select this particular object, hit enter. Now the oblique angle. Now look here, this particular extension line should be in line with this vertical line. The angle of this vertical line is 90 degrees. So obviously the oblique angle is going to be 90. So type 90, hit enter. Just select this dimension, go to the script and make it in line with this particular dimension. Hit escape. So this is how we have to give, this is the actual drawing dimensioning procedure for your isometric diagrams. In this way you can give dimensioning for the other surfaces which are needed. And now if you carefully observe the isometric diagram which we have drawn and for the dimensions which we had given, you can see there is a bit of confusion between those extension lines and your diagram. So in order to avoid that, we have to reduce the size of our extension lines of our dimensions. So for that, go to dimension style manager and the command for it is de-enter. Go to modify. Now we have seen text, fit, primary units. Now let us go to the option called lines. Go to lines. In lines, beneath the preview window, you guys can see an option called fixed length extension lines. And beside, towards the left hand side of fixed length extension line option, you can find a small square box over there. And by default, there will be no tick mark in that. Now let us give a tick mark. And before giving tick mark, just look at the option here, length. When there is no tick mark here, the length box is not activated. You can see even when I'm clicking it, it is not getting activated. Now let us give a tick mark by just clicking in that box. The moment we had given a tick mark for fixed length extension lines, the length box got activated, and it is by default it is displaying a value of 1. Just remove the value 1 and give a value of 0.25 and give the value of 0.25. Click on OK and then close it. See, now you guys can see that the length of the extension lines got reduced, and your dimensions and your diagrams are visible properly. And this is how we have to increase the presentation of your isometric objects. And you guys carry on with the dimensions of the other elements also with the same procedure. Thank you.